say a massive hello to everyone this evening and thank you for coming tonight. This fits in with our vision of helping, inspiring so many business owners to absolutely thrive in this pandemic. Most of our clients are thriving in this pandemic, and it's not because of anything that we do special than they do the hard work. So I wanted to bring Alison in today for her to go through her own story. Now, Alison's got such an inspirational story. I'm not gonna steal her thunder, but what I'm gonna say, she's gonna talk to you what position she was in and how many clients she signed in 1 month by doing a few simple tactics. Alison, do you want to come in and take over and wow?
Thanks, Paula. Thanks again for asking me to do this. I do like sharing my story, although I do, I hate talking about myself, but if it means anything that I've done inspires anybody just to take action over something, then I'm more than happy to do it. So probably start off with a situation that got me, like in a probable state. In May 2018, I was made redundant. And I actually thought like my whole world had collapsed. I'd never been made redundant. I was 47 at the time. I'm now 49. Go on, say it. I don't look it.
They're all mute. They're all
sorry, that's okay. That's okay.
Came off mute.
I was thinking.
Tell you.
I know, I'm only kidding. So obviously at 47, I was like, shit, like, I've never been out of work. What am I actually going to do? So probably I had a good think about it, talking about different things to people, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to start my own business. And I thought it would be really easy, but how naive, was I in thinking start a business and everything will be amazing. So from May to probably October, November 2018, I did all the research, put my business on Companies House, done my website, business cards, all the usual things that kind of comes with, as I thought, setting up a business. And then it came to October 2018 and I'm sitting and I'm thinking, okay, so how do I get clients? I was like, how do I actually, sign clients up? Now, I'd never networked in my life. I'd never heard of it. Didn't have a clue. And my boyfriend, he had told me, first of all, about BNI. And I was like, oh my God, just gave me the fear. And networking. So I thought, I'm going to have to do it. It was either that or what he said was, you go around businesses chapping doors. And that just was not what I was like going to do. So October 2018, I went to my very first networking event and it was SWIB, Scottish Women in Business. And I met Andrea Martin. She was the very first person that I met. And it was probably fate, to be honest. Because she totally made me feel so relaxed, and she's like, you'll be fine, and yeah, you need to stand up and do 30 seconds, and basically I nearly wet myself because I was like, I don't know if I could actually do this. But she did actually reassure me. Then she was telling me about Paula, Influential Minds, and of course all that kind of information at the time. I thought, I don't really know what this is, and probably in the industry that I was in, I do a lot of research on things. I do my own due diligence on stuff as well. So I did think about it and I thought, you know what have I got to lose? I've got no clients, like what am I actually going to lose? So I think the very first Influential Minds meeting, in fact, actually the very first time I met Paula, she'd messaged me and said, I'd really like to meet you for a chat. Friday night at the Village Hotel. Who meets people on a Friday night at the Village Hotel? Because I was like, oh my God, I was like, this woman must work crazy hours. But anyway, there was another reason behind that. So I went to the very first 90 days and it was in the Marriott Hotel away through in Paisley. And walking into that room was just really overwhelming for me. There was over 20 people sitting around that room, all business owners. And I'm thinking, oh my God, all these people know what they're doing. And I just thought I was this wee stupid person in the corner because I didn't have a clue, didn't know what Paula was talking about. I thought I've gotten over my head. And I was I'm normally quite quiet, and a group of people that I don't know, I am really quiet, and I don't really speak out and things like that. But I thought, I'll sign up for this, what can I actually lose? And I got talking to other business owners, and I actually realised that people were kind of going through the same thing. And I thought, right, okay, I'm maybe on the right track here. But then my money started to dry up, all my redundancy money, my savings, because I'd invested it all in, the business, the networking, all that kind of thing. And Paula had then brought out a new package. It was a sales club. And I thought, well, may as well go to it and just kind of see what that's all about. Because I was at the point that I thought, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to keep a roof over my head? I've got 2 kids. I was actually at the point I was going around Tesco with a calculator, like budgeting. I have never budgeted so much in all my life. I was actually, as an employee, I was earning so much money every month. I never had to think about money. So this was new to me. The fear was kicking in. The panic was kicking in. I even gave back my car that I had, and I'd never been without a car since I was 17, 18. But I thought a car's a necessity. It's not a necessity, it's a luxury. I don't actually need it. But I didn't want somebody coming to my door chapping asking me for money when that's actually what I do. So I was like, give my car away. It's a luxury at the end of the day. I can do without it. As I say, I was going to Tesco with my calculator. Then I'm thinking, should I just go and get a job? Because it would have been easy for me to just go and get a job and go back to working hours, earning a good salary, all that kind of thing. But I thought, do you know what? No, I'm not. I have come this far. And if I go back to being an employee, I'm not going to have the choices, that I really want to have in my life. I don't want anybody controlling me. As soon as I was made redundant, I realised that I still had people controlling me, albeit it was my employer, but they were in control of my destiny, basically. So I thought, no, it's not going to happen. I have to keep going. So it was basically, I think before Sales Club, I had an absolute meltdown in Paula's office. Absolute meltdown, that I was so mortified, just crumbled. And I was like, I'm doing all this wrong. I don't know what I should be doing. I don't have any money left. I've gave my car back. I'm like scrimping and scraping, and I don't want to let my kids down. That fear of failure, all that kind of thing. I was like, no, I just absolutely crumbled. But that was probably the best thing that I did, because what I learned was I was holding too much in. It was the embarrassment. Like even my mum and that didn't know that I was going around like Tesco with a calculator. When I told her all that, she's like, oh my gosh, she was so upset. And I was like, listen, it is what it is. I just kept everything to myself. So that's the kind of situation that I was in before I actually started going to Sales Club, which was a turning point for me. I don't know if you want to ask any questions on the back of like that situation. I'm sure, we're all human at the end of the day. That's the way I look at it, and that's why I want to be open about how I was before everything kind of changed for me, because not talking about it, I think, makes you worse. Like my whole mind was going crazy. So I was a different person until everything changed. So feel free to ask anything if you are wanting to ask any questions on that.
Anybody guys want to ask any questions? If not, I've got one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll ask. So probably other people are thinking this at the same time. So when you were in for a while with Influential Minds, how long did it take you really till you really started seeing some success and your mindset changing?
Straight after that meltdown, which I'm going to go into. I'm going to go into like what actually changed and what I did to get those changes.
Alison, I've got a question. Listen, I think it's incredibly brave what you're doing and telling this, because it can be easy. I think you're fantastic anyway, but this is amazing. But see, the Chris Sales Club, how did you find out about that? What was it that gave you the confidence that you thought, I'm struggling here? How did you find out about it, and why did you go to it?
Well, Paula had mentioned that she was starting the sales club up, and the way I looked at it was, it's either sink or swim. I was at that point, as I say, I had, either I get a job or I keep going. And I thought, under no circumstances am I going back to being an employee. So that's why I continued on my journey, basically.
Alison, you're probably going to answer this question later on, but I'll just see if there's an opportunity for me to ask this. So that day that you were crying your little eyes out, I mean, you're competing against Jackie for the tissue award. Hey, Jackie.
Let's just say you've got to go a long way to compete against me.
So you're in my office, absolutely crying your eyes out. I think that was you near your bottom. But what got you through those dark days?
Probably not wanting to. It was in my mind that I just didn't want to fail. I didn't want to let my kids down. Like when I said I was starting one business, everyone was so excited for me, and the kids were the same, and my mum and dad and whatever, and Craig as well, obviously. And I think it was I just didn't want to let anybody down. So yeah, I think that's why, because that was probably the lowest I've ever been.
So proud, because I remember that when I come in here, really thinking that it wasn't for me, and I still to this day mention it, that I started ignoring Paula's calls because I thought I'm not good enough for this, and then I took the call one day, and I remember saying, look, this isn't for me, I'm sorry, I just can't continue. And so I know like how you felt. Like it's like I just felt thinking, I'm glad I did now, but it was like just thinking I'm not worth being here. So I'm just proud of you sharing this.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah. Okay, that's a great comment, Brian, there. And it's really interesting how people think they're not worth being in a group of people that understand them, know them, and resonate with them, but can help lift them up to the next level. I don't get it.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well, because when you're in amongst people that want to be with like the same things as what you want as well, and because you don't talk about it, you don't actually know, so you're just assuming, and you're being presumptuous, which is really bad, with certain situations. Whereas I think that I learned from that is that you speak out, because I remember sitting to one guy in that big room, and I was sitting next to him, and I said, oh, how long have you been in business for? And he was like, 15 years. And I thought, oh my God, like, why am I even here? Because I thought, he's in business 15 years and he still needs a coach. And that's how naive I was. And I did say to him, so why are you here then? And he must have thought I was a bit thick. And he's like, listen, he says, we all get into bad habits, and we all change our way of thinking, and you get caught up in stuff. And I was like, oh, and that actually made me feel a wee bit better, because I was like, he never put me down for it. He never took it the wrong way or anything, because I thought, Christ, I could have offended him there. But when he explained why he was there, I was like, oh, actually, this might not be as bad as what I think. So I think that was that kind of kept me there as well, because everybody he was obviously there for a reason. We were there for different reasons. So yeah, definitely.
Fantastic, Alison. So, okay. So what's changed? How did you transition from being an employee mindset to a business owner's mindset?
Well, I remember we started Sales Club on 29th of March 2018. And the reason I know is because I have my sales book that I keep with me everywhere. Now, I even took this to Craig's at New Year. For anyone that doesn't know, my partner lives just down outside Leeds, and we had managed to get away on holiday. But I'd left it in his house. So when I came back from Manchester, when I got home, I panicked because my Sales Club book was in his house. And I phoned him. I was like, you need to get that in the post and get it up to me, because obviously we're in lockdown again. I don't know when I'll get back down. And he's like, really? He's like, it's just a book. I was like, that's my Sales Club book and my coaching book. I said, so, and he did, to be fair to him, it was in my door 3 days later. And that's how, like, I need my Sales Club book. It goes everywhere with me. So Sales Club, 29th of March 2018. And you know, I think it was probably because I still was struggling to get clients. I still didn't have a consistent income as well. So it's like, you know, what am I doing wrong? How am I not getting, you know, enough clients as such? And it was weird because I'd never actually thought about the business owner mindset. So transitioning from that employee mindset. And I remember Paula saying, you should be a business owner 70%, a manager 20%, a technician 10%. I was the opposite, you know, 70% a technician. I was doing everything, and, you know, and I thought, God, I'm actually not a business owner. I was still acting like an employee, and I was doing it the wrong way around. And that was like, I'd even highlighted it in my book. That was a total light bulb moment for me. Because you do just, when you're on your own as well, you think you just have to do everything. So you do. But when Paula explained that formula, I was like, holy shit, I've been doing this the wrong way, you know, all this time. And that's when I started, you know, I was able to, I held myself accountable for everything. I put actions in place. You know, if I didn't do all that, then basically I wouldn't have a house. You know, I'd have to move with the kids, you know, into, you know, somewhere like downsize and do all that kind of thing. I'd never get my car back. You know, as well. So I was like, if I don't do something about this, then I'm going to stay where I am. So that's how it all kind of changed for me as well. So it was basically, you know, I was responsible for everything, and it was up to me to make sure that I made that changes. And it was the basics, all the basics that Paula had been telling us about, and I wasn't actioning them. You know, like, I'll hold my hands up, I wasn't, you know, but it was realising that, and then putting those small actions in place was like a turning point for me. I started believing in myself. My confidence grew so much because I was in amongst people, you know, that I trusted as well. Now, when I was an employee, I used to stand and do presentations all the time. I had 74 employees. I had to do presentations to our finance director, our managing director, our sales teams, and it never even bothered me. I never even flinched. I used to get it in the neck all the time off our sales guys because I was a credit manager, and you know, I was called the sales prevention team, and that never bothered me. But when it came to my own business, it was like, holy shit, I need to stand up here and speak. So it built my confidence up like amazingly. Like, I do feel so confident now. I can speak. I'm at the point now I can turn away clients, not in a bad way, but I know the good clients. I know the clients that I want to have. And it's like, you just start learning to value yourself. And just tracking. See, just tracking like your numbers. You know, I was starting to see how much I was making every month. I could see who I was talking to every month. I could see who I had to follow up with, all the basic things that you have to do, and it's just all down to tracking, I believe. You know, like my development, I love self-development anyway. I'm always been one of those kind of geeks that I would do courses and things like that. Like I got all my paralegal qualifications. I'm now doing another paralegal qualification just because I want to. It's just, I love all that kind of thing, and I don't see the point in someone like Paula being a coach and giving you all this material and you're not going to do anything with it. I just don't see the point, you know. And I've been guilty, you know, where I'll come away from a session, I'll think, right, I'll do that later, and you know, I've held my hands up, but it's me that pays the price for it, because if my results start going down the way, I know that I've not done something that I should have done, basically. So I hold myself accountable for it. I look back and I reflect on what I've done during that month. So I think it was, yeah, Sales Club was just immense for me. It was crazy. Like the changing points in that. Is anybody wanting to ask anything on the back of that?
How did you get your first client?
Sorry, Linda?
How did you get your first client, Alison? Your very first client?
How did I get my first client? I think Paula was my first client. No, I think it was probably the guys within Influential Minds. They were starting to get to know me. I was starting to get to know them. They trusted me, and that's how I started off, like getting clients, because the guys in Influential Minds would introduce me to people as well, you know. So because I was having conversations with them every other week, well, probably every week. There's never a week goes by you don't see Influential Minds people. So, and it's getting to know the people. So that's probably how I started getting my first clients. And LinkedIn was huge for me. My first year in business, I got 56% of my business through LinkedIn as well. All down to being consistent as well. That's a big thing. You start off doing something and you have to stick with those habits and be consistent as well. So yeah.
Alison, tell the group what does it take to get 18 paying clients in a month? What do you have to do to be able to earn that right?
The very first thing for me was believing in myself and knowing that I'm worthy, you know, probably seeing my value that I was to clients who were, obviously the more clients that came to me, the more, you know, I started to feel confident and feel as if I was providing a really good value to them. They needed my help. I did just to shy away from stuff. Like I wouldn't follow up on things because I had that fear. And then I would realise, I'm like, God, these people are actually asking for my help. So it gave me the confidence to actually keep going with that. And that month that I signed 18 clients, I was like, holy shit. I was like, this is actually happening. You know, that I can get like all these clients coming to me as well. I've never used sales pitches. I'd never cold called anybody. I wouldn't even know how to do that anyway, even though I got loads of them sent to me. You know, it just made me feel so confident. I think like my confidence grew so much. Does that answer that for you?
Okay, but what tactic did you use to get your 18 clients?
Tracking. It's a big thing. Tracking the number of people I spoke to every day. My sales process that I'd put in place as well. So making sure I followed my sales process as such, just to give myself some guidance, because you can go off track, you know, with stuff. In my numbers, I could see that I was, you know, my numbers at the end of that month were tremendous as well. So even seeing that, you know, it was like, God, this is actually happening. But you had actually like set me this task like throughout the month. Don't know if you remember. saying about the record number, but you were actually telling me fibs so that I would get more.
Who, me? Me?
Yes.
Did I do that?
I know, and I was like, oh, I've bet the record. So yeah, no,
Shocking.
I remember that because what was happening with Alison, she'd gone from virtually 0 clients to 18 clients in a month, but she started to chill out around about the 11th client or the 12th client mark. And it was like, right, for you to get constant sales, you need to kick in momentum. And I always call momentum your best friend Mo. And what she was going to do is do that roller coaster effect. So she'll do all the hard work, get momentum kicking in, and then stop. And what I wanted to do is encourage her to go through that, so momentum would always carry through with her every single month. So she doesn't live that shock and awe as a business owner, you know, like you high one minute and you low the next. And that's a really hard gig to have. I wanted that constant level of increase. So when she got to that mark, I just sort of fibbed and said, you know, we've got a record at 14. Do you think you're good enough? Well, that was like a bull to a, what is it, a China and a bull? What is it? China?
Yeah.
What
China
is
and
it?
a bull shop. A bull in a China shop.
Red
Sounding
rag
like
to a
you.
bull. Red rag
to a
Red
bull.
flag to bull.
Red
Oh, yeah.
flag. I was doing 2 quotes in one then. What a bargain, eh? Bog off deal right there. So yeah, so it was to give, it was like she focused again and went for it. And it was really surprising that you got 18 in that month, because you only had a couple of days left, didn't you, to get that?
Yeah, and I had great pleasure. I'm like sending the message, hey, I've got 18 now. You know, it was like I was totally on a high, and see, because I reached that, I was like, it just gave me even more focus, it gave me even more motivation, the confidence changed, and I was like, right, okay. And it wasn't hard. Like, I don't mean that in a thingy way. It was, when I look back, my mindset and everything, I mean, that's got a lot to do with it. I mean, as we know, your mindset's got a lot to do with how you work and things like that. So yeah, so I'm the record holder for that in Influential Minds. I've got my wee trophy.
So you've gone from 0 to 18. What is the biggest tip you could give to anyone to help maximize their sales?
Tracking. Consistency. Tracking and consistency. There's no point in just doing something for a couple of days and then just think, I can't be bothered. Because it's nothing when you actually start doing it. It's part of your routine to me. So it is. For me personally, yeah, tracking, definitely.
So what do you mean by tracking?
Tracking who I speak to every day, how much money I'm bringing in every day. Is it, like, if I set a goal every month, is that what I'm bringing in every day? Am I actually going to reach that goal? All that kind of thing. Just my follow-ups as well. Just make sure I'm tracking my follow-ups that are due. Yeah, it's just kind of tracking. I tracked everything. I've got a thing about, I think the first time I started tracking my numbers, I was like, shit, why have I not been doing this? Because you have visibility of everything in front of you. And like, even, you know, I've got QuickBooks, you can run reports off of there. And I think it took me about a year to work that, like, see that. And I'm like, God, I'm putting all these things on a spreadsheet and I can run a report. So yeah, so I do like to, I used to hate looking at money because I went through that stage of not having a lot and watching everything. I got to the point that I hated looking at my bank kind of thing, because I thought, what's the point, because there's hardly anything in it now. Whereas now, yeah, I check my bank every other day. I check if money is coming, update my tracker. So yeah, tracking everything, anything.
Okay, so guys, does any of you got any questions so far in regards to what we discussed?
I think Arthur does.
Arthur, come on in.
Well done, Alison. That's brilliant. And you know what? You're now a businesswoman, not an employee anymore. You're a businesswoman. And actually, I wrote down 3 words that I think apply to what you were saying all there. And the 3 words are activity, perseverance, and process.
Yeah.
And you've got those in abundance. I remember, I'll just tell you one quick story. I had a client, I'd had him for about 7 or 8 years. I was doing the same thing over and over again, and he had been a client for so long, and I said to myself, I don't need to go through the whole process for this chap, because I know him, he'll just do it anyway, he'll take my word for it, and I cut corners. Did I get the business? No.
No.
So think of yourself being on stage. You're performing an act every day, time after time or a time, you're like a pop group, you're like an actor on stage or an actress on stage. You're doing the same thing, and they do the same thing time and time and time again. And that's what you're doing. Well done.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you.
Michael, thanks for that.
Sorry, I love asking questions and interesting kind of stuff. See the 18 sales that you did. Where did that come from? Was that kind of LinkedIn, or was it emails that you were sending out to people? Was it Facebook, or how did that kind of come about? What was your kind of sales foot, or your platform?
It was LinkedIn was part of it, and that was just people contacting me. As I say, I've never emailed anybody. I've never messaged anybody asking them if they're interested in my business or anything like that. And it was referrals, basically, because I was meeting so many people every day, even people on LinkedIn that were randomly contacting me. What I would do was I would send them a personal message via video. So they were seeing my face, and I would send them a wee video message, 15 seconds long, just saying, hi, you know, nice to connect with you. Look forward to seeing your posts on LinkedIn. And you know, that worked because the amount of feedback that I got from that was, they're saying, oh my God, it's great to actually see a person. You know, so that was a big thing for me. So LinkedIn and referrals were the 2 main things.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Michael. Yes, Paul?
I was just going to, first of all, Alison, thanks for sharing your story. It's quite amazing.
Thank you.
18 sales, how many conversations did you have to have to convert them into 18 sales?
Probably, I would only target myself to speak to 5 people a day. That would just be, and there would maybe be 2 days out that week that I didn't reach the 5. So I'd maybe have 3 conversations or whatever, but I just made that up as the week went on. So yeah, it was quite minimal, just 5 people a day, yeah.
5 conversations or so, you got 18 sales out of it. That's quite impressive in terms of conversion rate.
Thank you.
Well done.
Well done, yeah. So this is the thing, Alison, right? You know, when you took your foot off the gas a couple of months later, because that's okay to do as well, guys, because what she was doing was consolidating the business so that her systems and the processes were good enough to, so what she was doing is strengthening her process and systems so they're good enough to handle that amount of business every single month. What was the one biggest thing you didn't do that had a massive effect in signing more new clients later on?
I stopped tracking every day, and that's where I knew that I was kind of losing track of stuff. And I was like, right, what am I doing differently? Because you can get a little bit complacent as such. You know, you're thinking, right, okay, you know, I'm getting all this. And yeah, I was trying to, you know, I was starting to outsource work and all that kind of thing, because obviously I had to manage the work that I was getting in. So I was thinking, okay, I don't need to speak to 5 people a day just now. I'll cut it down to maybe 3 or 2 a day. And as soon as the reduction started coming in, I was like, right, okay. And it's because I wasn't tracking and I wasn't doing the targets that I'd put in place, like the 5 people a day. But I recognised it, and that was a good thing, because I'd be like, oh shit, what am I doing wrong? And I'd just try and reflect on what I've done over the previous month. So yeah, if I didn't do my tracking for a few days, if I got so busy and I didn't do my tracking for a few days, I'd be like, right, okay, I'll just miss that week out. I can't be bothered going back and doing that because I need to do this work and that work. But yeah, that has an impact. So I've learned not to do that.
Any more questions before I ask another one, guys? No, cool. Okay. Follow up then, Alison. Money is in the follow up process.
Yeah.
How do you make sure you have enough time to speak to 5 people a day, do your work, and ensure you follow up?
Time management, basically. I've even got a timesheet, that I've got everything on a timesheet. My diary's planned out. Now, I used to plan daily, and then I thought as time was going on, it wasn't working properly for me, because of follow-ups. If I didn't follow up, that had an impact. People that had contacted me 2 months previously, and I'm like, oh God, I've not contacted Joe Blogs. I'm like, oh, I'll just leave it, because if he wanted me, he would have came to me. And that was kind of the way I was thinking. So follow-ups, potentially, I can't even put a figure on it, and I probably don't want to calculate it, but I probably would have lost thousands of pounds on follow-ups that I didn't do.
I think we calculated it, didn't we? Did we not? To say, do you realise?
Yeah, but I can't remember. I can't remember what was. I think I was like, I blocked that out in my mind.
Yeah, so what I normally do to get people to really understand the downside of their decision making and of not following up, we'll work out how much potential business they've lost in cash, and then we pretend it's in front of you, right in front of you on the desk. And would they rather grab that cash or let it burn? And that tends to get a different change in behaviour. Would you say, Alison?
Yeah, absolutely. It actually makes you want to cry, because you're like, I can't believe I've done that. So yeah, I'd say follow-ups is probably the big cost in money for me. Because you kind of, we are all human. We get into ruts sometimes. The good thing now is I recognise it very, very quickly. Whereas previously it would maybe take a month or 2 or whatever. But over that couple of months, I've lost thousands of pounds just from probably not following up. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're being a slack ass. Let me just be upfront on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question then. How have you gone, and Arthur's going to shout at me when I say this, right? How have you increased your average sale by 367%?
How have I increased it?
Yeah. I was just giving a heart, by the way, to Arthur. Yeah.
I'm thinking of like, who you sending messages to? So how have I increased it? Probably.
Well, it was just your prices, wasn't it? Was it average sale or prices?
Yeah, my prices.
Sorry.
I did increase my prices. I think that the way, when you start off in business, you don't know prices. Like you don't know what you should be charging people and all that kind of thing. But as time has gone on, and I did a lot of research on my prices, and and when I realised the prices that other people were, I was like, Jesus Christ, you can't charge people that, It's like, oh my God. But then as time gone on, I had the confidence, and I knew what I was giving to my clients. I knew what that was doing for them. Clients don't even really question my prices anymore. It's like, because they see the worth in them as well. And I think it's probably having the confidence to increase them, because people have that fear. They think, oh, I can't increase my prices. I've been doing this price for so many years. But then when you start working out like your time, you could be working for, like, when you calculate it, you could be working for like £2 an hour. you know, and then you realise how much time you're actually putting into that, because people forget about their time. And that's the biggest thing in your business, is like your time management. And I'm a big believer for that now, like your time management has got to be done properly. So, you know, and that's how I was able, you know, to increase my prices. I had the confidence basically to do it. So yeah.
Fantastic. So if there's anyone out here wanting to increase the prices, in fact, who wants to increase their prices so they can work less and earn more? Just put your hands up. So, all right, so majority of you then. So Alison, what is the biggest tip you can give these guys to be able to increase their prices so they can work less?
First of all, calculate your time. Calculate your time on what you work on a job. I think that's what kind of changed it for me, and realised what my per hour was. Calculate that and actually see if you want to work for that, and base it off your time kind of thing. And I just did research, you know, on other companies and things like that as well. And it does actually, you can earn more working less when you've got time management in place and you're using it properly.
Fantastic. Okay. Anybody got any questions on the back of the pricing or working less or any more? Yeah, Andrew?
So I totally get the increase your prices and work less. See if you're in a situation where you don't set your prices, how would you go about reducing the amount of hours you're working if you don't have a direct control on the price, because it's a third party that pays the price or sets the price?
Ask your boss for a pay rise.
He's stingy, he wouldn't do that. No, like, because obviously, like, if you can increase your prices, obviously that brings in more money, as well as the productivity that you're doing. But if your prices or if your charges are set at a certain percentage or whatever it is of what the other company sets it as, is there a way you would recommend going about improving the amount of money you're bringing in without actually increasing the prices, essentially?
That's actually quite a good question. Has anybody got suggestions for that one? Is anyone in that same situation?
So what Andrew is saying is, you're talking from an IFA point of view, that you get paid commission on what you sell?
For part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
You need more clients.
Who was that? Linda, was that you? Say that again, sweetheart.
You need more clients.
Needs more clients.
But that then means more time. But if we're trying to reduce the time, is what I'm thinking.
Is there any part of the process that you can automate?
Yeah, me personally, I could delegate it to other people within the office, I suppose, that aren't fee earners. Would that be a word to say it?
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Delegate.
Delegate the expensive tasks. Sorry, the less expensive tasks. So I suppose I can spend more time in front of a client. But
okay, that's a good suggestion. Well done, Paul.
Can you upsell to your existing customers? So they may be looking for one particular product, but you can sell them or cross-sell them other products that you know, obviously, as an IFA, they'll have to be necessary products. You know, sell them something need, but they may actually have other things that you could actually advise that would be useful. And therefore, you're getting more commission and more sales with one customer.
yeah, very good point.
Good suggestion there, Paul. Good suggestion. Yeah. Kate, did you have your hand up?
I actually think if we're and I'm quite interested in finding out, Alison, what she did to her time management, because I actually think that's that's mine. I think it's like, how much do you really spend time actually really selling and earning income, and how much time do you spend procrastinating, or now that we're predominantly working from home, just like wasted our time, if we're really honest. I think for me anyway, my part is just probably how time gets eaten away so quickly every day on
Yeah.
virtually nothing. So I think if I was going to change most of my stuff, it would be on how productive I can be, not how busy. That's probably been the biggest thing I've got from Influential Minds is, are you being productive, or are you, excuse the language, fanning around pretending to be busy? And that's where I look is probably the difference in people who earn the money and work less hours is because they're not being busy, they're being productive. So I kind of wanted to ask that question, how, because you said you changed your time management from daily.
Yeah.
So what did you change it to?
And I changed it to I did it gradual. So now I've planned my full diary for the month. But even if you're just checking over your diary at night time for the next day, like when you're filling in your diary, even put in time to piss about. If you want to procrastinate or go on TikTok or whatever, put it in your diary to do it for 10 minutes, you know, because it does actually work. You know, if I want to go and put a washing in, I've got set times to go and put my washing in and take it out as well. Even on my, like when to make, it's on my, like, self-care. We all need self-care. Because you can, especially sitting at home, you're sitting in front of your monitor or your laptop or whatever. You could sit there all out like 14 hours a day, you know, and you get up and you've got a sore ass and you're thinking, oh my God, you know, I haven't moved for hours. It is so easy to do it. So I put it all in a timesheet and I have it all color coded. How much time I spend in self-care, how much time I spend with clients, admin work, which I now outsource, social media, what time I put that on social, everything is on my timesheet. Yeah, planning pee breaks as well, but at my age, Andrew, I can't plan. I need to just run.
Love it. Just going back to Andrew's question then. Andrew, just to answer your question, there's a couple of things I would look to do. I would think about the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your revenue is coming from 20% of your activity. Write down all that activity. Write every single down that money making activities. And then the second one I would think about is the rule of 4%. Now, we spoke about this last week. Can you remember the rule of 4%?
I remember the rule of 1%. Don't know the rule of 4%.
Okay, so the rule of 4% is from those 20% of activities, there's going to be 4% of those activities that absolutely make you money within say 10 hours a week. So 4% of your activities will bring you in 64% of your revenue. So this is the question I'll ask everyone. If the government, I mean, they are so brilliant at the minute, if the government says due to COVID, you can only work 10 hours a week, nothing else, 10 hours a week, and you need to bring in your revenue. So your revenue could be 10 grand a month, 15, 20 grand a month. What would those activities be to bring that money in at that time? Okay. Also, another thing I'd be thinking of, Andrew, is what other revenue making can you what other revenue making that's available to you that does not add any extra time, does not add any impact on your quality, but you still earn money, and it could be residual as well, or you could still earn money from the customers or your network that you're in.
Yeah, so referrals to people that offer referral fees, etc.
Yeah, referably. So everyone has got a network here. I know everyone's got a network, even if it's 1 or 2 people, or you might 10, 100, it doesn't matter. Your net worth is the value of your network. Okay, so how are you leveraging the power of your network? How are you making money from your network? And I'm not saying just grab at every single penny, you know, still do favors, but you could have set agreements with people that love paying for advertisement and they're sick of paying Google and Facebook because it's costing them an arm and a leg, and it could be cheaper to use you and your word of mouth, but still get the clients. Okay. Does that answer your question, Andrew?
An example of that was Brian today when he was saying that he he gained business from the referral from yourself. So you're gaining income from a referral fee. He's gaining income from the client.
Yeah, definitely. And he's helped my client massively, you know. And it's not about the income for me, it's about the commitment. Money is a commitment tool. It's an accountability tool. That's it. Does that make sense? It's just a piece of paper. But it's just to make sure that transaction happens at the right level. Does that answer your question, Andrew? Yeah. Leslie Marsh has added a couple of things in here. I heard of a thing recently is your fear plus 10% is your price point. Ooh, that's a good one, isn't it? Your fear plus 10% is your price point. So what would your price point be now, guys? Just write that down on a piece of paper. If you use Leslie Marsh's idea, fear plus 10% is your price point, what would it be? And second question is, why are you not getting it? Okay. And it's, as mentioned, diversify and networking to look at vendors of my service. So yeah, absolutely spot on there. It's brilliant. Love that. Okay, so I've just taken over there, Alison. Just coming back to you. You carry on and tell your story, sweetheart.
Don't mind. So basically, I just want to talk about now is where I am now and what I've achieved over the last 18 months. You know, where I want to be kind of going forward. So as I say, yeah, I signed 18 clients in a month. My turnover, because I track all my numbers as well, I was able to see that in 6 months that my turnover had increased by 1,981%. And in 12 months, it had increased to 2,680% as well. So Paula does 12 levels of greatness, and I'm on level 5 now, which when I hit level 5, it kind of gave me the fear because it's the next level of cash. And I'm like, oh my God, am I going to hit that? Bam. So, you know, so I believe in myself, the confidence as well. So it's not just all about money for me, it's I've got clarity in where I want to be. I know where I want to be in 5 years. I know where I want to be in 10 years' time. I've never had that before. Like, absolutely didn't have a clue. I'd never set goals. I put up a post about that last week and I was embarrassed to say that I'd never set goals. It just wasn't my thing. But yeah, get monthly goals, yearly goals, my 5 year, my 10 years, where I want to be. I don't have to send messages to folk to sell because they come to me as well, which is great. And I don't want that to sound quite arrogant. It's a great feeling knowing that your clients just come to you. You know, I love that feeling. When I go on holiday, now obviously 2020 has been a bad year for holidays, but anyone knowing me previous to that, I have like 3 holidays a year. I absolutely love my holidays. And when I went on holiday, I didn't earn. So whilst I was on holiday, I would then panic. The panic would start to set in, thinking, oh my God, I'm not earning while I'm sitting here. You know, and Craig's under no circumstances would let me take a laptop on holiday. You know, so the fear of that every time I went on holiday. But I was actually able to go on holiday there in January and not worry because all my bills were getting paid. I had people waiting on me coming back. And that was a great feeling as well, because a year and a half ago, if I had an email from someone and I hadn't dealt with it, I'd be like, oh my God, they'll not wait on me. You know, I'm going to lose that client. But now, let's see, coming back, my diary is absolutely chock-a-block until March because people were messaging me, like, I know you're on holiday, I've seen your posts, just give me a shout when you're back. And that just made me feel really good that people were actually doing that. As I say, I've got more clarity. I learn how to deal with emotions better. I recognise them quicker and I can deal with them better. See, if I want to have a cry, I will have a cry. You know, like we go through the motions. If I want to have a cry, then I'll just do it. And then I feel better. You know, like if I'm even like a personal thing or whatever. I'm in the position now that I can actually buy my house this year. So I've rented for 10 years since I left my ex-husband. There's a big backstory to that as well, but basically I left with nothing. I can now buy this house that I'm in this year. By the end of this year, I'll be able to buy it, and it'll be something for my kids, because I'll be moving down south in a couple of years. So I want a base for up here, because I can obviously work between Scotland and England. They'll have a place as well, and I can go and buy a new car as well, you know. So that's where I am just now, and I've reduced my hours as well. I used to work 70, 80 hours a week, and that was not including weekends. Now I work maximum 40 hours a week if I really want to, 35 hours a week. And if I want to work at the weekend, it's a choice. But it's a good choice, you know, because I'm doing some self-development, I'm doing my paralegal course, stuff I enjoy to do. So that's kind of where I am today. There's probably loads of other stuff. I can take a salary as well. I'm paying myself. That was a big thing for me as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I am now.
This is fantastic, Alison. So Hitzer says, that's just amazing. Well done. Linda's put superb. Guys, before we end up, I'm just mindful of the time. We've got 2 more minutes. Does any of you guys have any questions? No. Okay. One daft question. On 0 to 10, 10 being so inspirational, 0 like not inspirational, how well would you grade Alison's story on inspiration? How would you grade it? If you just put it in the chat box, that would be brilliant. Fantastic. So some really good stuff coming through, Alison. 10. It's said 15. Lynn's 11. Linda's 10. Leslie's 10. This is brilliant. Fantastic. So wow.
Thank you so much.
Just from my point of view, it's been an absolute pleasure coaching you. And I'll tell you why. You're like a learning sponge. So you listen, you take on board what we say, you have an open mind. Yeah, you do challenge me when you think, nah, that's not right. You do challenge me to improve your understanding, but the biggest thing is you take action. And when you take action, you've grown massively. And one of the other things you've not told anyone is you've now learned how to get paid every single day as a business owner. So
guys, yeah, I forgot about that. I get residual, I've got my ebooks, I've got my notebook. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So when I work with high performing business owners, guys, some of them have said there's no way my business can get paid every single day. I mean, not even 50 quid every single day. And Alison's just gone and shown these business geniuses how easy it is. So I just want to say a massive thank you, Alison. You've been absolutely bloody incredible. And I always get goosies when I listen to your stories. It's so inspirational. So thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. You're very welcome.
Fantastic. Well done.
Thank you.
Wonderful,
Guys.
Alison. Really good.
Well done, Alison. Absolutely inspirational.
Thank you.
I'm catching up, by the way.
So next week, guys, we're going to show you the blueprint to make 10K a month. Who would love to make 10K a month easily? Just put your hands up. Okay, so next Tuesday, we're going to give you that blueprint of how easy it is to make 10K a month. And then the week after, the challenge starts, the 5-day challenge. So guys, if you know anyone out there who would love to earn 10K a month and we'll tell them what to do, we'll go through every single detail to tell them what to do, please invite them into the session next Tuesday. The way to do that is get them applying for the 5-day challenge. The 5-day challenge is going to be so amazing, so easy. It's going to show you how to get people begging for you. So if you know anybody that's struggling at the minute, please feel free to invite them and then get them out so that we can get them thriving. Can I just say a massive thank you to everyone? I really, really appreciate it. I really do. And thank you for giving up your time to listen to Alison. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alison.
Thank you, Alison.
Thank you. Thanks, Alison. Brilliant. Thank you.
Well done, Alison.
Thank you. Remember, be on time tomorrow, Andrew Beverley.